This is why you should always update the date of the articles on your website for SEO. This is why you should do it. This is an example just from today. I got fooled. I'm going to share this. My friend Alan is about to launch his AI language learning startup, loonlearning.com. And I told him to start his launch with beta list. And beta list will prompt you to buy paid options when you launch, but it will only prompt you at the end of your submission process for when you fill out a listing for your startup. And then at the end of your submission for your startup, for your tech startup, beta list is mostly about tech startups. It will give you different price tiers. Alan didn't know this, and he went to beta list's advertising page, and he sees 3 packages: $999 for a day, $9,000 for a month, and $99,000 for a year. And he sends me this, and he's like, Edward, you told me that beta list was not this expensive. You said it was $300. Why am I seeing $999 for a day? And I Google beta list launch price, because it's been, I think, a year and a half since I have launched on beta list, since I last launched on beta list. The number one result for this is an article from Upvote. The article is called, "So We Advertise on Beta List, Is It Worth It?" And it was published February 28th. This is number one, not just for this keyword, but many other keywords along beta list pricing, beta list launch pricing, beta list advertising pricing, so many other keywords. And Upvote only has 40 domain authority, 40 out of 100 domain authority on Moz. So their website isn't that authoritative. This is just hilarious that this is happening. Like, this is so crazy. It's a good article, but it's completely irrelevant because they did this listing on beta list. Upvote did this listing on beta list on June 11th, 2018. And then at the beginning of 2019, I had to actually go to view page source. I had to look at the code for this to see when it was originally written. And the date published is 2019, February 28th. So they wrote this article at the beginning of the next year in 2019. And ever since then, every year, they just update the publishing date. So when they did this, the pricing for doing a 1 day's ad was $99. Now it is $999. When they did this, it was $99. And they say in their article, this website allows you to submit your startup before it goes live for a one-time fee of $99. That's what they say in the article. Now it is $999. They don't say anywhere in this article that the price has increased. They don't say it anywhere. The article is factually inaccurate and misleading. There's a huge difference between $99 and $999. So the results that they share, they're good results for $99, but awful results for $999. And they don't say anywhere that the price is $999 now. But people find this article. I found this article, I read it, and I sent it to my friend. I said, this is a great article. And only after we looked at it deeper, we found out that it was inaccurate. But Google wants up-to-date articles. Now, if this was me, if Upvote was my site, I would actually say in the article that the price has increased. I don't think it's a good practice to update your articles and give out-of-date information. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps they don't know that the price increased. However, I want to say this. If I ask Gemini, what is the price to advertise on beta list? Gemini is Google's own chatbot, is Google's own conversational AI, Google's equivalent of ChatGPT. And if I ask Gemini, what is the price to advertise on beta list? Gemini has all the right answers. So even though Gemini knows that the starting price is $999, Google's own AI still puts this number one where it is factually inaccurate and gives completely misleading data. Because again, huge difference between $99 and $999. And this is a bias that Google has for fresh content, but that humans have for fresh content too. Because one of the first things that I looked at was, when was this published? I wanted to make sure that it was still relevant. I saw that it was published on February 28th this year. It was not. It was actually published in 2019, but they're updating the date. It even says in the page source that it's a date that has a date modified. It was modified in 2024, but they didn't modify it with the correct price. So I think this is such a small lesson. I'm actually going to make a video about this afterwards. It's a small lesson, but a super impactful one, because this article was not changed at all. I want to stress this. This article was not changed at all. The content was not changed at all. The images were not changed at all. The links were not changed at all. All they had to do was update the date and they get so much more traffic from that one small change, just updating the date. Crazy. And the best part for them, the article talks about what their product is. So it is also an advert for their product. It also promotes their product. Anyway, people are sleeping on this stuff. Google loves fresh content. Users love fresh content. And, I recommend updating the content if you can, but maybe you don't have time. But at the very least, it's crazy. They just updated the date without actually updating the content, and it's inaccurate, and it still works. So this is what's happening. This is what's happening in the world of SEO. If you're doing any sort of content marketing, any sort of SEO writing, or any other sort of SEO, this is something completely worth knowing. When we actually found the right price, you actually have to fill out a submission, and then at the end of your startup submission, it gives you the 3 tiers. There's free, there's a $300 one that I talked about, and then there's a $500 one. And I recommended to Alan that he goes with the $300 one. That's what I have done in the past, and that's what Alan is doing. Actually, I'll share this. I'll end with this. The $300 one used to be only $129. And this was in 2018, and Beta List has only gotten more popular since then. So we have a SaaS. It's called Reverb.chat. When we launched it, it was called Speak. We had named it Speak. And I wrote in my marketing journal, I spend $129 to have Speak featured on Beta List. We get constant traffic and downloads from being on the front page day after day, and get interest in a paid Speak API. Not only that, we ended up getting crazy SEO backlinks from this, and it was super impactful for our business. So easily well worth the $129 and also worth $300. Great price, $300. And that's what Alan is doing. All of this, I think it's just great to know. This is episode 289 of my daily growth hacking and growth marketing podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.